Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Box Seats. This is the show we talk about sports with comedians as we wait for the comedians to join in. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Looking right now to make sure that some of these comics are getting ready to jump in and get ready to get the show on the road. We got a lot of stuff that we got to cover. So let me see where they at. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna obviously get this stuff together, but yeah, we got a lot of stuff that we're gonna have to talk about. So with that being said, I'm sure you guys are sitting at home and you guys are sitting there trying to figure out. I got to get this stuff together because at the end of the day, some stuff dropped. So let me get ready to bring this in right now. My man Jason Hayes in the building. Jay, how you doing, sir? How's everything?
Hey, everything's good, brother. Always.
Yeah, but the link dropped on my end, so I got to redo the whole thing on myself. So I'm getting ready to go live on Instagram.
Okay.
You know how this goes, bro. I'm sure you
Yeah, yeah.
talking. Sometimes some
Technical
stuff
stuff.
just drop. Yeah, yeah, and yeah. So let me just do this right this second, and done. And okay, all right. So there it is. We give. I'm up. I'm up. I'm up. All right. So let's get ready to talk about this situation going on, bro. You and I, we were texting this morning. We were talking about this LeBron James. We were talking about Stephen A. Smith quote and everything else. While I get myself regularly situated, tell me what was the first things that jumped in your mind, in your thought process, what you heard, everything that unfolded about this Stephen A. Smith, because it's so much to unpack here. I felt so many different kind of ways. You know what I mean? Like, tell me what you thought, and then we'll dive into that.
I mean, well, first of all, I didn't even know that anything had even happened until I saw you post about it early, and I was like, he went on a rant. So I got a little jab off on you, on you Jordanites, and so I had to
I love
go
you, bro. I
and
still love you.
find.
I still love you, bro.
That's what y'all are, you Jordanites.
Mm,
Um, so I found the actual post, and and I watched the entire 10 minutes and whatever it was with him and Molly talking.
mhm.
And when I saw Braun's energy, like when he was talking to him, I was like, bro, if
Yeah,
Braun was any less professional than
right.
he is, he would have choked Stephen A out on that court right there. I mean, because he was on that level of like, I've had enough of you type stuff. And then
Mhm.
to watch Stephen A, do this 10-minute thing, or, apology, non-apology thing, talking about it was never about your kid, but you're talking about his kid, talking about, well, I was talking about you, about why I mentioned him and what you did, what you put him in. I mean, it was asinine. Meanwhile, everything was about him, and
Mhm.
he's a journalist and all this other stuff. But the reason why I just said forget it, Stephen A's from Queens, man.
Mhm.
Queens
Yep.
is a real place. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, so that when you go at people's children, there is no off button for that, right? And to do it repeatedly over and over and over and over again, and then pretend like, what are you talking about? I was never attacking your kid. That's the thing that made my blood boil, for Braun. I understood the whole energy, and like I texted you, Braun should have put pause on it, man, and just paid the fine.
Yeah. Well, it probably might have been more than a fine if LeBron had touched him. And then listen, I was looking at it from so many different perspectives. From LeBron James' perspective, obviously being a father, you know what I mean? I completely understand what he was talking about. What I didn't like a lot of it altogether, bro. I'm not gonna lie. So let me look at it. Let me go on both sides. Number one, I
Right.
didn't like the fact that LeBron James approached him in the game, at the game setting, you know what I mean, with all the people watching and everything else, only because the way, if it had been me, and I think this might be right too, if it had been you, and I had known he was doing that, and I knew the man was going to be in the building, I just made sure we got into the tunnel, you know what I mean, and was things where people wouldn't have been able to see, and then I would have had that conversation. And if knowing me, it would have probably been a whole lot more spirited. You know what I mean? And then, but if you realize LeBron, he was upset, but he also was cognizant of where he was and looking around the situation, and then when he left and everything else. So there's that on LeBron James side. Also thinking that I felt kind of funny too about LeBron James even saying he had to say something to Stephen A. Smith about his son when your son is in the NBA. I didn't like that fact, so that's on the LeBron James side. On the Stephen A. Smith side, I didn't like none of it. I don't like the fact that he kept talking about his son and berating his son like that. But I understand why he did it because, again, he's in that field. I didn't like that. But most importantly, what I really didn't like about Stephen A. Smith's side, I didn't like the way that he had an 11-minute soliloquy this morning, acting like he was super tough, giving all the stuff about why he said, I don't care, and I don't care. And, he said this, and, we seen, bro, you care because it literally looked like you were scared and has a couple of, some brown stains right then and there on your thing. Listen, and I ain't mad that he didn't handle it because the dude is like twice his size. I get it, but I just don't like the way he sounded so tough on TV today, acting like that. And then the caveat on all of that is I don't like the fact that he even addressed it on First Take. I'll be honest with you, because to me, I think he saw that it was trending. I think he saw that he knew he was going to get a moment to be able to talk about it. LeBron clearly said, don't talk about, I don't want you to talk about this, discuss this and everything else. Then once he realized it was trending, he's like, well, I got a sports show and you may have a sports show, you may have an issue, but LeBron didn't approach you on the sports aspect. He approached you on the man-to-man aspect, stop berating his son. That was not really a sports story. You made it out to be a sports story by addressing it and putting it out in the forefront and then letting everybody else see that is. So everybody, which everybody did, including me, everybody went and tuned in. Okay, we can't wait to see Stephen A. And you knew it was obviously something he was going to say because you know what he did? The first thing he did, bro, he talked about it as soon as the lights went up. Okay, I'm gonna address this. They weren't even sitting in their seats yet. You know what I mean? Like they didn't get sit in their seats yet. They weren't even comfortable yet. He sat there and said, "Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about this." So I didn't like it from all sides. You know what I mean? I just didn't like it from all sides, bro. I don't know, man. Part of me was like, is this something that the people are doing right now? And it is that people are doing just to get attention, that people are doing to get clicks, likes, clickbait. And then when Stephen A said too that, I'm addressing on First Take and my YouTube show, I'm like, just bro, this is one of the things where you should just mention it for like maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then get past it. I'm not messy kind of person. Like I don't like to talk about stuff that is messy, and people seem to enjoy messy because it does give you clicks and likes. You know what I mean? It does. I just don't like to thrive. That's just me personally. Now, I don't know if you finish talking about that, bro.
Just one more thing real quick. I mean, for me, what I saw was a narcissist who was aware that he got checked in public by somebody and he crapped his pants because that was a massive mammal standing in front of him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bron is a massive mammal. And he was about you say the wrong thing to me, moment away from throwing it all away because that was about his kid, man. You know what I'm saying? And so for Stephen A to do what he did, like I said, you know the rules, man.
Right.
It's like playing basketball, right? Everybody's talking trash. You can even be loud about it, but it's certain things you can't say because when you say those things, that's the line. And when you cross that line, you got to deal with the ramifications of what come with that because, you know what I'm saying? He's been around long enough to know that, man. He know the rules, but he's comfortable and nobody's checking him. He's the king of the world over there right now. And he's used to doing whatever he wants to do. And ain't nobody saying nothing to him. I'm glad Bron checked him, man. And checked him in public because now he can't pretend that it didn't happen because everybody sees it. Everybody's talking about it. And then when Bron was in his face, he did nothing. So don't talk tough today because he was in your face. You could have said something and said it off. You know what I'm saying? But no,
he did talk tough. But he did talk tough. He did do that. He did do that. Right. Now, this is the one. I'll leave it at this, and then we can move on. I'll leave it at this. Yeah. One other thing. You could say the right thing to the wrong person. Like all these NBA players don't have that type of upbringing. You know what I mean? If you say it to the wrong guy who came from the wrong type of upbringing, he's not going to care where he's at. You know what I mean? Like in the environment, he'll strike first and think about the repercussions later. You know what I mean? Like that kid who plays for Detroit. He's the first thing that pops in my mind. I forgot his name. The one who the kid who on the Detroit Pistons who was trying to rip LeBron James's head off. You know what I mean?
Oh,
If
okay.
if if Stephen A. Smith had talked about him like that and they had crossed paths, that kid, he, the way, oh my God, I can't, Kev, you're gonna have to look up that kid's name and put it in the thing chat for me. One of my producers, sorry y'all, I can't think of the name. It escapes me.
But
Oh,
like Ron Artest was the first person that popped in my mind for somebody like that.
same type of person.
But the
Same
thing
type of
is, he wouldn't talk to Ron Artest like that because he know what the outcome going to be. So that's why I have even less respect for him, because he
right,
knows who to say it to, who got something to lose, who
right,
ain't really going to take off on him the way that he should, because he
right,
got too much at stake. That's why I can't
right.
respect what he do.
Right. Listen, we both speaking the same thing, bro. It just honestly, it just from both sides. I didn't like it from both sides.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really do wish LeBron had checked him in private, because that way, if he wanted to extend the conversation, he could have, and that way, Stephen A. Smith, we'd be hearing Stephen A. Smith is on having a vacation all next week. Meanwhile, he's up there talk about
He
you know,
might he might still have to take one.
yeah, he might,
Shoot.
but at the end of the day, I'm going with this. Like, end of the day,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
his
Get
lumps had
lumped.
he got
Get him
lumped up.
lumped.
He had to, but they telling us, oh, he had a vacation coming, and you know what I mean. And,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like, LeBron, handle your business, in the tunnels, something like. So that's on that part. But
Yeah.
yeah. So I was upset about all of that, bro. I don't know. I was bothered by all that. Anyway, as we wait for a couple other cats to come in, I want to jump into this Steph Curry debate again. And this is the second time I heard this, bro, in the last couple of days. I don't know if you heard this, but this is the second time
Right.
I heard this.
Right.
Now, if you're sitting at home, I'm sure you're sitting at home and you're watching sports and everything. I'm sure you know what we're about to say. We're getting ready to talk about. Okay, they got a private chat here to see. Not Kate Cunningham, Kev. The oh my God, the other Detroit Piston guy. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. If you're sitting at home, we're talking about literally the Draymond Green literally said there has never been no one in history of the NBA who schemed against and guarded against like Steph Curry, and he should be considered in the GOAT conversation. When you hear NBA players say things like this, especially me, my man Kevin knows I say this all the time. When I hear NBA players say stuff like this, it really my blood boils to a certain level like that, because you're getting ready to incite an entire different conversation that makes absolutely no sense going on the line. Like, when you're talking about GOAT conversation, listen, Steph, when it comes to the GOAT conversation of the best shooters, that's one thing. That's one thing.
Right.
But GOAT, come on, bro.
Go,
Like,
go. No.
and that's what he was talking about. Yes, but here's the point. What he said was absolutely correct in the fact that, yes, teams now have started to scheme against how they played him. But Steph Curry and the entire Golden State Warriors as a team changed the way the NBA is playing right now, because you guys won 4 NBA championships. That's why, and it became. And at the time when you guys were playing and winning, you guys were winning by hitting so many 3-pointers. That's why now the league shoots so many 3-pointers, is because of Steph and the Golden State Warriors, not just Steph alone. It was, obviously it was Steph, it was the entire team, it was Clay, it was yourself, Draymond, it was everybody shooting threes, and we all know what happened. Now you're looking at teams like the Celtics, the Cavaliers, the OKC. OKC's the world shooting 40s, 53s literally per game. Now, I will definitely pass the baton to you. You tell me. Obviously, I don't think you agree, but you tell me what your thoughts are. Do you think GOAT conversation? I don't even put words in your mouth. Tell me what you think.
No, not for GOAT conversation, man. Because so people forget how small Steph came up in the playoffs a lot of times, right? Even
Mm-hmm.
even in years that they won a championship, like Iguodala got NBA, Finals MVP one year for them, and there's no way you can mention him as the GOAT when Steph was on a 73 win team, was up 3-1 against the actual GOAT
Right.
out of Akron, Ohio, and lost the series.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't even know how he fixed his mouth to even say any of that. I mean, like Steph is no doubt one of the best top 10 players ever played in this league. He revolutionized shooting for sure, changed the game for sure. And depending upon who you talk to, the Golden State Warriors are the ruination of the NBA with all that 3-point shooting, everybody trying to replicate what they did. without the same personnel. Like you can do that if you got Steph and Clay. You can put those up. But if you don't have those kind of shooters on your roster, then you get a lot of complaints about the game looks terrible.
You do, and the problem is that when you make the changes and everything else, and you're part of this team and everything else, people will hold no validity into what you're saying, because you're looking at it from an outside in perspective, and you're talking about something that literally makes you look like, I don't want to say stupid, but stupid is not the right word. It makes you look I don't know. It just doesn't make you look correct in saying what you're saying, and it really makes me look at you cross-eyed, bro, because you're in the NBA. You should know better than to say make a statement, unless he's trying to make a statement, trying to get some clicks, likes for his, which could be true. You know what I mean?
That's probably why you're doing it.
Yeah, it could be like that. Yeah. Yes. Kev's giving me some names right now. He's texting me some names, and none of those names stick out. Jalen, no. Dennis, no. Ron Harper Jr., no. To make it easy for you, Kev, it was the guy who tried to attack LeBron James on the court when everybody was holding him back. What was that big brawl? You remember that was the time when everybody was, they were holding. He was running all through the court, and everybody was trying to hold him when he was going after LeBron James. And it was kid played for the Pistons, and it's gonna drive me nuts. I'm gonna have to look it up. Anyway. Okay, it's come to the show where I'm waiting. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's Friday. The other guys didn't show up, bro. But hey, we're gonna have to hold it down like we're gonna have to do it. So I wanted to pick everybody's top 5, best sports films. And I had a lot of sports. When you were going through your list of sports films, I know you Googled them and everything else. There was a whole lot.
I didn't Google anything. I just like, what movies did I love? And that's what I wrote down.
I did that too, but I'll be honest. You know what I did? I did that first, and then I Googled some. So I put my top 5, and then I Googled some. I was like, "Ooh, this one might be this one." You know what I mean? My top 5 that I always watch repeatedly. Be honest with you, like repeatedly. And one movie literally just jumped in my top 5 because I thought it was so good. And one movie, which was, I'll say also, is The Natural. That's my number 6. It didn't make my top 5. You know what I mean? But I love The Natural. I've watched The Natural probably 200, 300 times. I mean, ever since it came, I might even watch it more than that. You know what I mean? Honestly. Well, I'll give you the floor. I'll let you start with 5, and you work your way down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we go from there.
So number 5 for me, it was tough, because 5, 6, 7, 8. That's Number 5 for me was The Program. It was their first inside look.
I love that movie.
On the dirty dealings of college football in an amateur environment.
Bro, I might have to change my 5. I want to see that movie at least 200-300 times too. I love that movie. Okay, go ahead. I love The Program. Excellent movie. Excellent
movie. Showed the maniacs of how crazy football players are. Number 4 for me, The Natural. The Natural is my top 5, Frank. I've probably seen it 500 times in my life, and I'm not exaggerating. I've seen that movie so many times. Number 3, He Got Game.
Yep, that was almost made my 5. Yeah, I'm with you. Okay.
He Got Game. That's another one. The dirty underbelly of college basketball, high school basketball recruiting. Great story. Number 2 for me, my wife would kill me because it's not number 1, but I love it almost as much as she does. Loving Basketball.
Yeah, that almost made that's my top 10.
Loving Basketball.
Yeah,
but the top spot for me is The Realest. You can't be more of a sports movie than this. Hoop Dreams.
Oh man, I love that movie too. Man, see, this is why I like these kind of questions, because you hit different perspectives from different people and see what they, you know what I mean, what they like. Even though I kind of revealed what my number 1 was yesterday, but my top 5 is, it's not as great as yours. But I'll tell you what didn't make my top 5. Okay, what didn't make my top 5 was Caddyshack, because I love Caddyshack. It's hilarious. I love Caddyshack. And what didn't make it was Creed. Even though Creed is an excellent movie, I thought that was a great great boxing movie. And most importantly about Creed, what I really liked about that was how they flipped the Rocky story. You know what I mean? And they put it in there. And then Rocky didn't make my top 5 either, but Rocky could have. It easily could have made my top 5. Number 5 for me was King Richard. That was probably the first sports movie I ever saw.
Really good movie.
Yeah, and I sat there and said, "Wow!" I mean, and then I think it's probably the first sports movie I ever watched, and then stopped it and then rewatched it right then and there because I loved it so much. You know what I mean? And obviously, it's a true story about Venus Serena. I absolutely love that. Now, Major League is my number 4 because I've watched that movie a billion times. It makes me laugh. I love it.
I get it.
Yeah, it's so unrealistic, but it's funny. The first time I watched it, I was rolling, and then there was Wesley Snipes out film, which a lot of people don't realize.
Willie Mays Hayes.
Yeah, Willie Mays Hayes. People pay attention to that. One of my favorite roles for him. Loved it. Rudy's my number 3 for obvious reasons. You know what I mean? Everybody loves that scene. Comes in.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, great movie. Great. You can't knock Rudy. Number 2 for me is Hoosiers, because Hoosiers at the time, if you don't understand about high school basketball and what it means to a lot of people in Middle America and in the South in this country and everything else, and what the way it just lays down the law on what basketball is and how it is the forefront of how it was before black people came into basketball, when it was just white people. What the white people were dealing with, just white versus white, and then you have a speck of a black player here and there. How it was starting to change the game. You can see it because it's from 1954. High school basketball team trying to break. Love that all. And I told you yesterday what my number 1 is. Vincent Papali and the story of Invincible, where a guy who was just a substitute teacher walk off trying to make the team, and ultimately does. And what they didn't say in the movie was he got the teams to the playoffs. They lost the following week, but he got the Philadelphia Eagles to the playoffs, and he ended up winning a Super Bowl. Obviously, maybe the year 2 or year 3 he played with the Eagles, but he did get a Super Bowl ring. But Vincent Papali's story, I absolutely love that story. I love that. And then somebody threw in there and say they like I, Tonya. Like I, Tonya was a good story too.
I hate to overlook that, man.
I, Tonya's a good story too. You see, that's what I'm saying.
Great movie.
That's a great movie. And the way people who did I, Tonya too, they did their homework. You know what I mean? Like they did their homework because they didn't leave anything out. And I remember, obviously being around and looking at the news as it was popping up with all the stuff that was coming up. I was like, oh wow, that's a really great thing, man. Listen, I love that. So yeah, that's
incredible.
Yeah. Now there's a lot of movies that we missed. You know what I mean? And if you sit at home,
I wrote some down. Like in case somebody, said one of my top 5. I had some backups.
Okay, so what's your backup?
My backups, man. I got Bull Durham.
Bull Durham's good. Yep.
You got Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans are beast. Yeah.
Blue Chips.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Blue Chips is good too because they showcase Penny and Shaq. Yep, I like that. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I really, really like A League of Their Own. I love that story.
Yep.
So that's like
they in my top 5. They in my top 20, but not my top 5. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that Denzel movie. Listen, Remember the Titans, bro. I really love that, man. I love that.
Yeah, Alex is definitely gonna act up and Remember the Titans, bro.
Yeah. See, Remember the Titans is one of those movies too where you could put in and say, this is one of the movies, and it's a true story too on how again, high school, the way people were trying to blend each other's cultures, white versus black, at a time that was going on in this country when we were dealing with civil rights errors and all that stuff. But again, those kind of movies really move me because there's a lot of things that you don't realize that goes on that happen. Like what was it? 60? What's the movie with Chadwick Boseman? Was it 61? Was that what it's called? 61? 42. Yeah. Right. 42 for his number 42. Right.
Yeah. Jackie Robinson.
Yeah. That was a good movie too. That's a really good movie too.
Hey, listen, I almost put down Happy Gilmore, man.
I almost did too. Because it's funny. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. And if they fumble Happy Gilmore 2, that's coming out on Netflix in a couple weeks, I'm gonna write Netflix, man. I'm like, y'all should have left this alone. If they fumble it, I don't know.
If they fumble it.
Yeah, if they fumble.
But where can they go with it right now? I mean, he's on the senior tour now. I'll wait to see it.
That's why I said if they fumble it, because there's a really good chance that they could fumble it. Because how do you pick up the story from that to 20, was it 20 years later? I can't even, I don't understand.
No, man, it's like 30 years later with Happy Gilmore
Is it
now,
30?
man.
Is it 30?
At least
Yeah,
25.
it might be 30. It might be 30. Yeah.
He might be
I hate
30.
that's why I hate movies like that with sequels of 20, 30 years later. You should have just left it alone. Like, who made you say that this is a great idea? I don't know. I don't know.
Sometimes it can work, because most sequels suck because they get rushed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They'll do the movie date and they don't even have a script yet, but they got the date where it's going to drop, and then everybody works towards the date. So if they took 30 years, hey, it might be fire, man.
Might be. Might be.
It
You
might
can't,
be
I can't be
fire.
mad. Can't be
Took
mad.
30 years to write it.
But the chances are, you and I both know, chances are highly likely that it's gonna suck. You know what I'm saying? Chances are highly likely that it's gonna suck.
It'd be like Dave Chappelle as Rick James. He says, I wish I had another set of hands so I could give you 4 thumbs down.
Very true. Very true. All right, so the other part of the segment of the show we were going to do today, we was waiting on people. We were going to say the top 5 most underrated athletes that you can think of in the past 12 months. Even though I didn't say the past 12 months, I told everybody just give me a top 5 most underrated athletes. What I did when I gathered my top 5 underrated in the last year or so. You know what I mean? That's what I didn't do all time. I
did all the time.
Well,
I did all the time. Yeah,
that's good. That's good because I didn't. So that way we give 2 perspectives. You get 2 perspectives.
Oh yeah, that's good.
So I'm gonna let you go first with with number 5 and work your way down, and then see where you hitting them with top 5. Because I obviously think this is interesting. Go ahead. You go first.
I changed my top 5 because my wife complained to me. She told me I was too Jacksonville focused. Because so I'm going to mention it because it matters, and they got to fix this. Fred Taylor should be in the Hall of Fame. Okay, he should be.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my actual top 5, number 5, Marshall Faulk.
Okay.
That man changed the running back. There was not a running back before Marshall Faulk who was just as deadly in the passing and receiving game as he was as a runner, and he was a deadly runner.
So why do you
don't talk about Marshall Faulk enough?
Oh, you
don't talk about him enough. Okay. He's in the Hall of Fame, but they don't talk about Marshall as they should. Now, number 4, Andrew Jones of the Atlanta Braves. That man was so good for so long, and nobody talks about it. He should be in the Hall of Fame too, but he's not.
Okay.
Go to the stats. And that man was 19 years old.
Yeah, he
playing in the World Series, hitting home runs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He was the best center fielder for about a 5 or 6 year run, and it wasn't even debatable, right? Number 3, man, I wish that dude was playing in the NBA right now today. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, aka Chris Jackson.
Ooh, I forgot about him. That's a good one.
He was nasty with it. He gave Jordan 35 and said it was easy. Okay. Mm-hmm. Number 2, Bo Jackson, the baseball player. Like, people talk about what he did with the Raiders and all that.
I'm liking your top 5, bro. I'm liking your top 5. I'm kind of mad that you do it all the time because now my top 5 ain't gonna be standing next to yours. But we're gonna get back to that. Go ahead. There you going.
Bo Jackson, the baseball player. He was a freak of nature. I mean, he's batting over 300. He's hitting home runs. He's a crazy center fielder, throwing dudes out from the fence at home plate. They don't talk about how good of a baseball player Bo Jackson was. And at the top number 1 spot, and this is this is probably why I really hate. I can't say hate. I don't care for Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Because he deprived this man of something that he rightfully deserved, and you know where I'm going.
Yeah.
My favorite point guard of all time, Isaiah Thomas. Number 1 spot. Underrated, and they don't talk about him enough. Talk about Allen Iverson is the best little guard. No, it's not. Al was good, but he wasn't Isaiah Thomas.
I guess it depends on how you look at it, bro. Because I would have thought AI is better because AI did well. They're two different style of plays. But go ahead, I'll let you finish. I didn't mean.
No,
Go ahead.
I mean, that's number one spot. But to me, I was in Philadelphia at the height of Allen Iverson mania, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing about Al, like I loved how he played. I mean, like how he everything about Al I loved. But Al couldn't shoot, not consistently. He was streak. I mean, like some nights he'd go hit some threes, but that wasn't his game.
No, his
Isaiah
game was
Thomas
to the basket. His game was
slashing,
the basket.
slashing. You know what I'm saying? And
Slash.
he was a volume scorer. Like
Right.
Al took a lot of shots to get his points.
Right.
Isaiah Thomas was efficient. He got his teammates set up one-on-one. You barbecue chicken, man. There's nothing you're gonna do to stay in front of him.
But Jason, what you're doing is you're comparing apples to oranges, and I can't let this slide. You compare apples to oranges, and I say this because of this. The way that Detroit's game plan was when they played was different than the way the Sixers played, because the Sixers the entire offense went through Allen Iverson to score, and the second option, which they really didn't have, was Mutombo when they could have, or Eric, what was his name? Eric Snow, right? You know what I mean? That's the way it was. But with Detroit Pistons, they had 3 or 4 options where they had scoring options, so the offense moved the ball the way they. Isaiah Stewart. Thank you. I am Miss Hayes. I think it's Miss Hayes. She said that we were thinking of Isaiah Stewart. That was exactly who I was thinking of. Isaiah Stewart. Like I was talking about if LeBron had. I mean, if Stephen A. had been confronted by Isaiah Stewart, he would have first smacked him or punched him first. He thought of later. So Anyway,
he wouldn't say anything.
Yeah, he wouldn't say anything. Now about your 5, your most underrated 5. The list is good. Can't knock the list, but I think all of them are rated somewhere. I don't think honestly any of them were underrated. I think they all underrated. They might not have been shined as well as they should have been, but I don't think they're underrated in any way, because Marshall Faulk gets his respect. You know what I mean? Isaiah Thomas gets his respect. I'm thinking about. I should have even clarified this. I'm thinking about people that don't get their respect, don't get coverage on television, don't get known. Just that's what I meant when I said under. And wasn't your fault. I should have been more clear. So now, guess what? Now this gives you a chance to get me another list. Give me another list. We'll circle back. And then also it's got to be in the calendar year. Somebody who played in the calendar, because the list would change dramatically if you say, who's your top 5 all-time underrated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the calendar year is tough, man. Oh God.
Exactly. That's what I said. I want y'all to think about it. Like who's top 5 most underrated of the year because of the list of their accomplishments. Check out the list from me. Okay. I'm gonna go first with John Jones, Knicks martial artist, the best in the world, but nobody knows his name. Like you could walk and you could ask 10 people right now, and if there's somewhat of a boxing fan, they might know, but I guarantee you 9 out of 10 people have no idea who he is. That man should be on TV. He should be in movies. He should be on cereal boxes. 37 years old. The dude, the record that he has right now. Let's see. He competes in the heavyweight division, the Ultimate UFC. He's the current UFC champion. He's been killing people ever since 2011. From 2018 to 2020, he was the UFC lightweight heavyweight champion. And right now he's number 2 in pound for pound rankings worldwide and mixed martial arts, and has been around since basically 2011. Nobody knows his name. That's what I mean by underrated. That kind of player. He comes in, does the thing.
Frank, I don't even like MMA. I know who John Bones Jones is.
But you like boxing a little bit, and you don't count.
No, I like boxing a lot.
Yeah, so you don't count. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the average 10 people. And I would say ask your wife, but she probably follows sports because you talk about it so much, so she don't count either. But you get my point. People who should be household names, people who should be on cereal boxes.
He should be better known for sure. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, give me your top 5 underrated players. John Jones is my number 5. My number 4 is Anders Lee. He is the captain of the New York Islanders. What this kid is doing, and I'm not even a hockey fan, but I'm around hockey. People love hockey. I'm in Boston. People love hockey and everything else. They can't stand this kid. This kid is killing them right now because he plays for New York Islanders. He's one of the best when it comes to this. He's got 22 goals. He's got 40 points. He's got a plus 17 rating through 54 games. He's on pace for 61 points. And right now, if he was going to end right now, he'd be in consideration for the NHL's Hall of Fame just right out the gate. So that's him. My number 3 a little bit of a homer here is Rafael Devers for the Boston Red Sox. He has had one of the best rookie seasons ever in a Red Sox uniform. He's had even one of the best rookie seasons in all of Major League Baseball, hands down. So I got to give him that. So that's my number 3. My number 2. This is why I knew I was going to get you at. Stacy in the building. Let me bring Stacy. Hi, Stacy. How you doing?
Hello, everyone.
How you
Hello,
doing?
Stacey.
We are in the middle of giving our top 5 of top 5 most underrated players all time. So I'm gonna circle back with you in a minute, Stacy. Let me finish my top 5. My number 2 is DeAndre Swift, running back for the Bears. He's known for his versatility, solid season. What people aren't talking about is he had 959 yards, 6 TDs. He was number 3 in the league. And the reason why I wanted to bring him up is because, we all heard everything what Saquon Barkley was doing. We all heard what Derrick Henry was doing. But my man DeAndre Swift didn't get he got no time. He had 959 yards. And if the Bears had a better front line and they had a better offensive line, he would have broke 1,000. You know what I mean? That's my number 1. That's my number 2. My number 1, I think I've told you several times, man, is Donovan Mitchell. He is single-handedly leading the Cleveland Cavaliers to the best season they've ever had, hands down. And when you turn on Sports Center, when you turn on, ESPN, when you turn on FS1, they mention the Cleveland Cavaliers and passing. Hey, Cleveland won again here. And they just started talking about it now because Cleveland is right now they're winning. And I think now they're getting more TV time because they beat the Celtics a week ago. You know what I mean? Honestly,
Right.
I think that's what. But they still wouldn't be talking about Cleveland, even though Cleveland has the best record in the league. They have a better record than they did when LeBron James was on the team. They had the best franchise record all time. And Donovan Mitchell is putting up record-breaking numbers that he would be in the Hall of Fame if he was to retire right now. You know what I mean? Donovan Mitchell's only problem right now in any conversation is he hasn't won an MVP. He was killing it with Utah. We all know this, killing it with Utah Jazz. He was putting up ridiculous numbers. So to me, if you ask me, Donovan Mitchell right now has got to be my number 1 most underrated player in any sport. Honestly, in any sport. Honestly, I don't think he gets any shine at all. Stacy, it's your turn.
Hello.
We are asking right now. Forgive us your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 most underrated players. Now, Jason gave me underrated players all time, and I should have been clear and said just in the past year, and I wasn't clear. So, is your list all time, or is your list in the last calendar season?
Kind of most in the calendar season, but I'm going to be honest. I have been racking my brain. I do not have a complete 5, and I know that it's 5.
Okay,
I know that it is 5.
Give me what you got.
Who did, just out of curiosity, because I came in on yours, who did you say?
Okay, I said number 5 is John Jones, mixed martial arts champion that nobody's talking about. I think he should be on all the boxes and everything else. I think he should be in movies. I think because he's been killing it since 2011. Like I said to Jason, a lot of people have no clue who he even is. You know what I mean? So
which is insane to me because he is so dominant in that sport and in that field, even with his out of the ring issues that he has. I feel like it just should have illuminated him even more that he was having those substance abuse issues and was still as dominant as he was or as he is in that field. So, but yes, go ahead. Okay.
5 was that. 4 was Anders Lee. He's captain of the New York Islanders. Obviously, for what he's doing with how many points he's got and his pointing rate. And I'm not even into hockey like that. Number 3 for me was Rafael Devers because of his rookie season that he had with the Boston Red Sox and playing third base. Number 2, I think you came in with, I said DeAndre Swift, running back for the Bears.
Oh,
and
yes.
Number 1, Donovan Mitchell. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That is a good list, actually. That's.
Where'd she go?
Well, we lost her.
We lost her. Okay. I'm sure she's going to come back and sing. She'll be back. Okay, so while we wait for her, let's see. I Am Hayes said, she's on Instagram. She said, Mo Better Jaguars, National 9U Pop Warner team from Brooklyn. Ooh, see, this is why I like asking kind of questions because people put up stuff that you didn't even think about. You know what I mean? Last several teams scored a combined 0 points against them. Wow. I didn't know that. Thank you, Miss I Am Hayes. Sitting in there.
That's trash talk, Frank. That's trash talk.
Why? Why is that trash talk? Why? What
Because I'm from Jacksonville and she's from Brooklyn.
Uh-oh.
And she's trash talking that
Do you know her?
Brooklyn beat the Jacksonville. That's my wife, man.
Oh. Figures. She's trash talking you.
She trash talking, man. That's all right.
But hey, listen, wifey gets what she gets, bro. Let her leave alone. That's what she's doing.
Right.
She's not living right. And now she's smiling. You know, my wife would do something like that too. You know that, right? My wife would literally do something like that too. It would come in under a completely different name. You know, that's what my wife would do. Come on, different names you wouldn't even see coming.
Just throw a hand grenade in the middle of it and then just run away from it.
Or be a turtle, you know, and stick your head out, you know, throw something, come back. My wife would do something. Miss Hayes, Mrs. Hayes, I'm gonna say, you are literally no good right now. You're bad. This is horrible. Causing my man to get ready to be on the couch this evening. I don't like that. That's bad. All right, so where am I at? All right, so I wanted to continue moving on. While we wait for, I don't know what happened to her. While we wait for Stacey to come in, did you hear about the news about the news of Kevin Durant news again? And it's Kevin Durant news all the time, Jay. It's literally every day. And I'm only going to say this, you know, bringing it up because I saw it today. Actually, I saw about 4 or 5 articles on this, which kind of threw me. 4 or 5 articles I said today said that there's a brand new report saying the Lakers, the Mavericks, the Spurs, and the Heat are all about to pursue your boy and my boy, Kevin Durant. And, you know, the reason why I don't like these kind of reports is because what it does is it obviously causes certain ripple effects that come in the league. And it basically causes other teams to do some type of drastic things that they shouldn't do because they're scared of what one player might do. You know what I mean? Like one player, as you know, one player has a domino effect, could affect the entire league. Kevin Durant is that kind of dude. Now, if Kevin Durant lands on the Mavericks right now, I expect him to basically do the Mavericks. Yeah, it'll be a problem, but we all think for this season, not going to happen. But for next season, when people start coming back and they're getting healthy and Kyrie comes back and Kevin Durant comes back, the team's older to a certain extent, but AD, you know, you got a lot of injury prone guys. But if Kevin Durant comes to that team, I think a lot of people will pick them to be the finals favorite for next season if he goes. You know what I mean? If he goes.
They would have to be, I mean, if he goes to Dallas, I mean, because with him and AD and Kyrie, and I mean, even if Clay comes back diminished, dude, that's a lot to deal with, man.
Yeah, that is. But on the flip side, that's a lot of older dudes who are injury prone. You know what I mean? So you got to figure out how you're gonna.
There's that.
Yeah, you got to figure out how you're going to navigate that team, and then trying to figure out how you're going to play. You might do what the Celtics are doing right now, and you say, okay, this night you two have off. You know what I mean? And we're going to tell this person that you got a pinky toe messed up, or you're feeling. You know what I mean? Because you're going to have to. You can't play those, especially on back to backs. Those guys ain't playing back to backs. You know, you have to figure that out. You definitely have to figure it out. So I'm looking at it like this: out of the Lakers, the Mavericks, Spurs, the Heat, you got Kevin Durant. Which one do you see him going to? I go on record saying Mavericks. I think he's going to the Mavericks.
It depends. Well, I mean, I think Dallas may have the most pieces to go and get him, but then the Lakers got some nice pieces too. You know, with Connect and the kid out of Oklahoma. I'm forgetting his name right now. The other white dude, this Austin Reeves. Like they're 2 real nice pieces that I can see Phoenix wanting to get their hands on. Plus, they got the other kid. What's his name? Is his name Vanderbilt? You know, the backup dude that comes off. Rui's a nice piece too. So it's possible. But honestly, for KD, it makes the most sense for him to go to a place like the Lakers, because he has to go someplace where he doesn't have to be the motivator of everybody. Like KD just wants to play ball. You know what I'm saying? He ain't trying to be.
That's very true.
All those other things that you have to be as the face of the organization. So for him to thrive, which is why he thrived in Golden State, because he didn't have to be that dude. You know what I'm saying? You know, he just played ball. He showed up, he got his stats, and he went home. Steph and Draymond talked to the media, they did all this stuff. So if he's gonna go anywhere in terms of fit, it has to be a place like the Lakers, you know, where it's a veteran that's established, that's going to do all the other stuff, you know, so the KD doesn't have to do that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. I understand. Let me say this. I understand what you're saying. I don't necessarily think that. I don't know. By the way the Lakers play, I don't know if his style fits their play. You know, if Kevin Durant's style fits the way they're playing now, I should say. You know what I mean?
His
Now,
skills fit any style of play. There's nothing he can't do on the court.
that could be true. That's very true too. But
Nothing.
the way I take that back because the way JJ Redick is such a coach and everything, he'll make it fit. He'll definitely make it fit because the way I watched. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see the Lakers game last night against the Knicks?
I didn't watch it. I didn't know it was on, so I didn't watch it. I didn't know it was on.
I will say this. For those of you who know, I hate the Lakers, but I will say this. I didn't expect the Lakers to play that good. The Lakers missed some shots. They're going to have problems facing the teams like the Celtics or the Cleveland if they come that because, they don't hit the shots on that high clip. But the way they played last night, man, yeah. I see why they're number 2 in the West. I see it.
But think about, Frank, think about a scorer like KD. He's a knockdown shooter. He can knock down from the mid-range. He can come off picks. And he has 2 willing passers in Luka and in Bron. His stats, and the thing is, they don't care who the leading scorer is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They just gonna make the right play. So KD to the Lakers, man, that would be problems if he's healthy.
That's number 1. And number 2, 1 and 1A is if Luka Doncic can continue to play the way he's playing last night. Because last night I didn't see the ball hog that I normally saw on Dallas Mavericks. That used to drive me nuts. He was to come up to the top of the key. He would dribble for 20 seconds, and then he'd try to figure out he's going to pass or shoot within the 5 seconds. And then he'd put his other players in crazy, ridiculous spots with 5 seconds left to go to shoot before the shot clock.
Right.
4 seconds left to go to shoot. I used to hate that. That's why I was like, they're never going to win an NBA championship if he continues to play like that. He didn't play like that last night. He would bring the ball up, if he even had the ball, and he'd pass the ball out immediately, and they'd get into their play literally with time to spare. You know what I mean? Like you literally saw the ball moving with the Lakers, which is the reason why what Dugar said. I understand why he said it. Matchups makes sense for them and the way they're going to play because they're passing the ball. What they're doing is they're passing the ball to get to the player who has the best matchup to go score. You know what I mean? So when LeBron got his matchup that he liked, he would attack. When Luka got his matchup he liked because of obviously the top pick and roll switching at the top of the key and anything else, he would take it to the basket, and that's the way you can win. Well, you could definitely get to the NBA Finals that way until you come up
basketball,
with
Frank.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed
to be. That's how the game's supposed to be played. It's about the matchups.
Right, but people aren't playing like we all know. Teams aren't playing like that, but the Lakers are. The Lakers literally, it's going to sound crazy and I'm going to date myself, but the Lakers are literally playing old basketball, but the way it's supposed to be played. JJ Redick he came out of his bag with this one. I'm like, okay, he's coaching. He's coaching. And now I understand why people are saying he's in coach of the year conversation. When I was before, 2 days ago, I was like, come on. No, I now I understand. He's changing the way everything is being played, and I absolutely love that for them. But now we'll see what happens when they play my boys. You know what I mean? My boys are coming up tomorrow night, ABC. We'll see what that happens. Prime time, ABC, 8:30. Can't say I already got. You see what I'm saying? I'm already ready. I'm ready for this.
Can't Boston Lakers.
I didn't say that. It's Boston, and that's what
Boston.
We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. All right, all right. So continuing on, looking at the time, I want to get to the NFL real fast. Let me ask you this, bro. Myles Garrett went to meet with the owner, Jimmy Haslam, of the Cleveland Browns, and Jimmy Haslam of the Cleveland Browns decided that he didn't want to meet with him. And I took it when I first read the story. I was like, wow, that is a complete, utter disrespect, slap in the face to one of your best players on the team, has been one of your best players for the last 5-7 years. And then I thought about it, and that's why I want to throw it to you. I thought about it, and I was like, maybe he's trying to say, listen, I don't want to hear, I'm not going to trade you. Deal with management, talk to management, don't overskip management. You know how some people like to say, at certain jobs, I'm going to go to the man, I'm going to go to the owner, and certain jobs do that. Like, no, deal with the management, deal with the proper corporate structure, talk to them first, and then talk to me. Maybe he's handling like that. I don't know. But looking at it from an outside in, from looking down, I don't like it from, that perspective, but I still have to keep my mind open to what may be playing out. How are you looking at it, Jay, from any perspective? Myles Garrett's the best player the Cleveland Browns have had probably ever in franchise history, honestly.
In this newest iteration of the Cleveland Browns, absolutely. He's the best they've ever had. But so since I can't prove for certain that your scenario of no, go to middle management, don't come straight to me, is not what happened or the thinking, I can't say that it's 100% that, but I can say it's 99.98% not that, right? Because the man already said I want out. He's saying, listen, because at first he was like, I don't want to do a new contract. I don't want to re-up anything. I want out. But the fact that the owner did this proves to everybody why Cleveland is what Cleveland is. Every organization is a top-down situation. If the owner ain't got enough good sense to talk to the best player he's ever had, to give him a sit down, then that on top of you gave Deshaun Watson 300 mil, the mixed Gatorade on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And look at Instagram models. Bro.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh.
That verifies why they are who they are. I saw this article a few months ago. Cleveland Browns are the losingest franchise in NFL history since their inception.
I saw that.
This is why.
But to just finish what you're saying, if Deshaun Watson comes back and he's somewhat of what he was, then they shouldn't be playing as bad as they are. I guess the problem I'm having is Deshaun Watson washed? You know what I mean? Like, is he done? Is his career over? Like, can he come back? Can he be Can he be half as good as he was? Because he's never played the way he played in Houston in the Cleveland Browns uniform. Never. Has not.
Excuse me. So Deshaun Watson got traded to Cleveland, 4 years ago?
Hasn't been not
3 years ago?
3. Well, might have been 4 because 1 year he had to sit out, right? 1 year he sat out the whole year. And then
Houston sat him out for a whole year his last year in Houston.
Right.
Right.
And then he got hurt and then sat out another whole year.
Another year.
Yeah.
Got hurt again.
They got hurt again.
So we're going on 4 years of him not playing anywhere. Right. So if he goes out, and now let me say this. When he was healthy and he had some decent support around him, he didn't look terrible, but he didn't look like Deshaun Watson either. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if he might be washed, man.
Mm-hmm.
He might be washed.
I'm leaning towards that, but because we've never seen the Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson, that was upsetting a lot of people in the last year and a half before he got traded. We've never seen that guy in a Cleveland Brown uniform. We've never seen that. So maybe Myles Garrett knows something we don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what.
You know what? You know though, Frank. You know what though? Maybe this is an indictment on the quality of the city of Cleveland's massage parlors.
Maybe it is. Maybe he's like, I got to go. And
Stacey, it's the same quality. Is that the same quality he was getting in Houston? Ooh. So,
it's hilarious. All right, Stacey, you're back. I don't know what happened, but you're here. You're here.
It's a trick. The spirit, the devil is busy.
It's all right.
We just don't say that. It's a trick of the enemy. It's fine. Okay. They don't want me to get my list out there. That's all.
Well, we're gonna get you your list. Go ahead, give you your list.
Okay. So in no particular order.
Okay.
I would say, just based off the level of conversation that's being had and not being had, starting off with basketball, I would say Derek White is underrated. You hear a lot about Jaylen Brown.
Underrated.
You hear a lot about Jason Tatum, but he is the wind beneath the wings. Dare I say the Scottie Pippen to their whole organization or what they have going on there. Without Derek White's reliability, he's like 50% from the field right now, and he's like very reliable. He doesn't get the level of attention that he should because of the other names that he's playing behind.
I love that pick, Stacey. I love it. He would be my pick, but Donovan Mitchell's way better
yes,
than
we're
me.
talking about underrated. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, because of the team that they're on, Tyrese Maxey, who's actually not having a terrible season, he's like maybe top 10, definitely, but top 5 in scoring right now, but he's just on a terrible team. So nobody's really,
I like that too.
really like talking about him or giving him his shine, because who wants to talk about the 76ers right now if it doesn't involve getting rid of Joel Embiid?
Right.
The NFL, I would say Brandon Cooks. As a wide receiver, he has had
that's a great
5
pick.
or 6 1,000-yard of season.
Oh my God. Excellent pick. I forgot about Brandon Cooks. Yeah,
yes.
Excellent. I love that, Stacey.
No one talks about it. That's what I was saying. I got some heat, and they didn't want me to. They didn't want the enemy didn't want to say it.
Actually, I think Brandon Cooks might be the most underrated player all time. But go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I didn't get to 5. I have 4. And my 4th, honestly, this is my controversial pick. Just given the climate of the quarterback market now, with a lot of teams in rebuilds, needing a bridge quarterback, needing someone to help get them over the hump. We've mentioned him a few times before, but he's not in enough conversations for me. Jameis Winston. He is very, very, very decent at what he does. He does have some issues with turnovers that he's working on, but if you are an organization and you're just looking for a solid quarterback to kind of get you through while you figure out everything that's going on, get someone in new, nurture them, help them learn the ropes, I feel that Jameis Winston is a very solid, underrated quarterback choice now that is not being discussed enough when it comes to a lot of these.
Stacey, you are amazing and you are underrated. Like I'm like that list.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
You
are sure.
That list was the Brandon Cook pick. I can't even believe I overlooked Brandon Cooks, because for those of you sitting at home, not only has 4, he might have had 6,000 yards. He might have had 6, but he had to be on a Cowboys. He was on a Cowboys team that had a problem with getting him the ball. You know what I mean? A couple of years, so he might have had 6. You know what I mean? Because how long have you been with the Cowboys now? I think it's like 3 years, right?
I was about to say at least 2. At least 2, I know. Maybe 3, at least.
Yeah,
and Godwin's very similar to him too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Now, since we got you, Stacey, and we're gonna wrap up the show, give me your. Do you have 5 best sports films all time? Did you get that list together, or you want to hold off on that?
Yes. No, that's fine. Yesterday, I said Ali and Any Given Sunday. Where just 2, one fiction, one fun fiction, one fact movie, documentary. I also like Creed. Not just like I just love boxing movies, but it was a very well written, very well directed, very good sports movie. Nostalgic, I like The Sandlot. It's a very cute movie.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. It's not what you would think traditionally when you would think about sports movies, but it is a sports movie, and it's a little bit lighthearted.
Yeah.
There's 3.
That's 4.
4? Oh, yeah. Okay. So my 5th sports movie would be He Got Game.
Ooh. My man picked that too.
Did you? Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
He Got Game. It's not talked about enough.
It's not.
It's not talked
honestly about. If you all remember, He Got Game didn't get the accolades it was supposed to get when it came out. It got accolades more
until after the fact. Yes.
Years after, He Got Game was great. Well, why didn't y'all say that when it first came out? Because y'all was bashing He Got Game. If y'all remember.
And it was only because Ray Allen was in it, and it's like, oh, what is he doing? It was just some hate. Yeah, it was hateration in Hollywood.
They don't like Spike either, so they always hurt Spike's business. So
And here's a fun fact that I saw Spike say just yesterday about He Got Game. Allen Iverson was up for it, and he didn't want to audition. And I was like, ooh, that would have been interesting.
Well, he also didn't want to go to practice. So are we
And that's what he said. That's what he said in the
Are
interview.
surprised?
That's what he said in the interview. He said Allen Iverson didn't want to do the stuff he's supposed to do. So yeah, so there it is. All right.
Yeah,
So
now the film set.
yeah, exactly. You can't do that. When you got to practice, you got to rehearse, and then you got to do, you know what I mean, a couple of times.
Yeah.
And that at that time, that wasn't Allen Iverson's MO, even though he would have passed for a high school kid if he had, took out the trade. He could have passed.
Is that a short joke, Frank? Is that a short joke?
No, not honestly. It really wasn't. I'm really saying realistically, if you were going to cast somebody to be a believable high school student coming out and playing like at the time, and you remember Ray, because I remember watching that movie and I was like, well, Ray, I like him in this movie and everything else, but he's not believable to me as a high school, kid coming out of high school. It didn't.
I believed it.
Nowadays, maybe, but back then, no.
No, back then, no. Nowadays, definitely, because some dudes get kept back twice in a 4-year school.
3-4 times.
Yeah. They be in high
No
school
child left behind. No child left behind. Thank you, George.
Suing the state so they can keep coming back.
Right. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for watching the show. Stacey, thank you for eventually coming in and trying diligently to get in and give us your list. We really appreciate it. I'm gonna say this list again on Monday when everybody else is coming in, except I'm gonna narrow it down. I'm gonna have people put up their best all-time underrated. I'm gonna even do probably next week. We're gonna do all-time overrated. You know what I mean? And then I'm gonna start narrowing down.
That's a good one. Ooh.
Yeah. Michael Jordan.
Overrated. Yeah. And then I'm gonna do teams, most overrated teams, because there's a lot of teams to me in any sport you can pick me like overrated. Like the biggest team to me that jumps out is the recent iteration of the Yankees. Like to me, I'm like the Yankees ain't that good, and they continuously getting the shine. And
they're 60s Celtics.
Ooh, you asking for trouble. You asking for trouble, Jay. You stirring the pot.
Yeah, he really is. He's getting ready to make me hang up on him. And I love the brother. He get ready to make me hang up on him. Like, Jay, you stirring the pot for you stirring the wrong direction, Jay. Talk about my boy. Honestly, though, at home, I love it because ultimately, who likes everybody when you're all for the same team going in the same direction? Like, I like controversy. I like that. Tell me why you don't like my team. I'll tell you why I do. And I'll tell you why I do like or don't like your team. I love it because ultimately, like we put together these lists. If you're sitting at home, when we put together these lists, you hear things from different perspectives of different people. And both of you guys had some great lists of people and sports teams and stuff I didn't think about. So thank you. Thank you all for sitting at home watching it. The show's called Box Seats. We're going to be back Monday. We're going to be back and have a great show for you. Obviously, it's Friday. Comics are traveling. They're trying to get to where they got to go to perform this weekend. Usually the Rodney Perrys of the world, the Dugars, and whoever our guest is would probably be in. But again, it's Friday. It's traveling. But thank you, Stacey. Tell everybody out there how they can follow you.
You can find me at Darn That Stacey J on IG, on TikTok at Stacey X Sports, and I also have a fun little podcast of my own called The She Shed, where you can go listen to us for more foolishness for sports and entertainment at The She Shed on IG.
And we're gonna have to start really tuning into your podcast because you know what you be talking about, Stacey. I like that, really do. I like that.
I'm just full of surprises. Surprises.
Honestly, you're probably one of the most. I don't know, and I'm not trying to be sexist here in any way, but I don't know too many women who know sports in depth the way you do. You know what I mean? The ones I do know work for the networks already, so we gotta figure out how that goes. Jason, you filmmaker Jason Hayes, you're out there, man. Tell everybody out there how they can follow you. As a matter of fact, what I haven't asked since you've ever been on is, do you have any projects coming up you want to talk about real quick?
I mean, I'm just in the writing process right now of putting a polish on this script so I can go ahead and get this cheese and make it happen. But God willing, I have this thing in the can like this time next year, hopefully.
I believe.
And you can follow me at JD Hayes on the Black Man's site, fan base.
I love the way he does that all the time. Fan base out there. Shout out to fan base. And they just got a $10 million investment 2 days ago. Shout out to fan base. Like
Ooh,
that.
All right.
Thank you all for watching. We will be back. See you all Monday.
Monday.
Thank you all. Thanks.